Hey, what's up, guys? Sanjay Shanoy here from Team Pixel Track, and I'm very excited to have Neil Patel on this particular interview. Neil, thank you very much for taking out the time. I know you're a very busy man. Thank you very much for coming on the interview.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I just want to ask you a few questions, but I want to start off with how did Neil Patel become Neil Patel? If you had to go back in time, when was that one particular moment when you said that, hey, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Well, there wasn't a moment where I decided that I'm like, oh, I want to do digital marketing. It
Okay.
ended up being where I tried finding a job online. This was a
Uh-huh.
long time ago. I couldn't find a job online, but I realized these job boards make a lot of money. So I
Uh-huh.
created my own job board. And I did this, and then I made no money from it because no
Oh,
one was on my site. So I paid a
okay.
few marketing firms. I got ripped off. I lost my money. I had to learn how to do it on my own. I got
Okay.
good at it.
Uh-huh.
And then randomly, someone asked me, hey, can you help me with my marketing? And that's how I got started into it. So all happened little by little.
So you're an accidental digital marketer, so to speak.
Correct.
And how long ago was this?
17 years ago?
Oh wow, that's a long time ago. I wonder how SEO was back then. It must have been completely different
It
and
is
much.
easy. You just put in a keyword in a title tag and description
Yeah,
and you.
yeah.
But there
The
also
good,
wasn't as many people using Google and all these social sites, so you couldn't make as much money as well.
absolutely, absolutely. So if you were to say go back in time and give your younger self some piece of advice, one piece of advice, like you need to do this one thing to get everything right, what would it be?
Focus. I did
For,
too many things at once. I should have just stuck with,
yeah.
running an agency, growing my brand. I should have focused.
I think everybody does that mistake. In fact, we have done the same mistake with Pixel Track, me and my business partner Deepa. So in 2018, we tried a bunch of things, but then we realized that we're putting our hands into too many things and losing out on focus. So it's just like what, let's shed a lot of faith and just work on things that is actually working for us. And I recently read a book called The One Thing. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's a great book which talks about how to have focus and let go of all the things which does not matter. So I think
Yep.
I know exactly where you're coming from. I'm also curious to know that if you weren't the Neil Patel, what would you have picked up? Something else? Where would you see yourself?
I probably would have gone into finance because it
Oh,
makes good
really?
money. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't see that coming at all. Okay, great. Only because you probably get a high-paying job and get to travel business class and all that. Oh, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I've heard that investment banks pay well over there.
exactly.
So
Yeah, I would have gone into investment banking or hedge funds or that kind of sector, private equity or any of those kind of things.
are you toying around with that idea right now? Because recently you acquired Google Suggest, not exactly the investment banking types, but you're obviously going around and buying all of these companies or products for that matter. So tell us a little bit about it. What is the main idea behind buying Google Suggest? First of all, brilliant idea. I feel that why wouldn't you do that? But what was the thought process for you?
The thought process for me was it's a tool that gets traffic.
Hmm.
Why not grow my traffic by just buying companies up?
Yeah, as simple as that. Right?
That
Do
was the
you?
simple premise behind it. And then I was just like, let me make the tool better. And right
Mhm.
now it's crazy because I just do so much. But when I
Yeah,
originally planned on creating something that could beat SEMrush and Ahrefs,
yeah.
my budget was $35,000 a month. And I more than
Oh,
surpassed that. I miscalculated my monthly expenses.
oh wow, that's a lot of money. So, I mean, having said that, coming to SaaS, building SaaS products and SaaS marketing, now, would it make sense for people in the current scenario where technology is much easier than what it was, let's say, 10 years ago, and access to good resources is much easier, say, 10 years ago? Does it make sense for someone to build a SaaS product and try to sell it, or just go your way, wherein you're just build this tool or bought this tool and just benefit from what it gives you?
Yeah, it would be. Well, it depends what your goals are. See, like SaaS, I love because it has consistent revenue. I
Yeah.
built it, but I do think SaaS is changing. See, when I started one of my first SaaS companies, crazy, like years and
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
You can build a feature and do really well. Now there's all
Exactly.
these all-in-one solutions, and the market's competitive, churn
Yeah.
gets higher, you have to go upstream. And I think SaaS has changed to being a race to the bottom. Who can just
Okay.
give away everything for free and as cheap as
Exactly.
possible?
My next question is going to be that because like ultimately SaaS has become a playground where who's going to like undercut the price, right? And you have like gone all the way bottom by saying
Look,
that.
look at Freshworks in India.
Yeah, yeah,
They are so affordable. They undercut everyone in price.
yeah, exactly.
And they do somewhere between 100 and 200 million in revenue a year, is from my
Yeah.
understanding. It just shows you, it really is a race to the bottom. And I'm just like, let me just beat everyone and make it free.
Yeah, because like I think you gave Ahrefs and SEM Rush the nightmares when you just said that you're going to give all the things that they would do for free. Like you just completely undercut them, right? Like when it comes to price, they
Yeah.
have no what to like, give it away for free, but they don't have the funnel like that you have set up. So being in SaaS can be very competitive, right?
That's correct. So, the way I'm using SaaS right now is using it purely for lead gen. Can I
Yeah,
do it to grow my brand? Can I
yeah,
5-10x the traffic? Think of it like a
yeah.
Google Analytics play, just getting more people into your ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. So me and Deepak have been thinking about the same thing. We built a tool called OptiChat, which is basically like a chatbot which helps you in lead gen. We tried to sell it. We made some decent amount of money, but we realized that we can like make a lot more leads and make more money out of the leads by giving it away for free. And that is what we're working on right now because it's or what happens is on the other end, I've also worked with like certain SaaS companies. Somehow at some point it somehow becomes a service company, right? Especially when you go towards enterprise. You try to be a product company, but at the end of the day, people expect you to like service them and turns into a service company more than a software company.
Yep. And you end up, you just got to figure out what's right for you. Some people love SaaS, like my co-founder, Ethan
Mm-hmm.
Shaw, and co-founder of Crazy Egg. He loves SaaS. So
Yeah.
his company, FYI, it's usefyi.com.
Uh-huh.
He just keeps pushing away and he loves it. I'm more passionate about giving stuff away for free, building the brand, and I don't want to run the business. I don't want to run support or any of this. And I have a co-founder, Mike, who runs everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the model works out really well for me. You just got to also find out what works for you.
Yeah. But if you were to enter SaaS with a paid product today, would you do it?
I could with Uber Suggest. My usage is extremely high. I
Okay.
can I probably can get to 10 million a year in revenue very fast in less than 12 months.
So are you planning to like make it a paid version?
I have no intentions at the moment. Maybe
Okay.
that'll change a year from now, but I have no intentions right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, what happens with SaaS companies is that, ultimately you need to, the money lies in enterprise clients, right? And it makes sense to service them and all of that. But it also is so much more difficult to get like leads, which are really good enterprise clients. So one of my friends, Sahib, works for this company, startup in Bangalore called Exotel. They are a cloud telephony company and they have clients like Uber and all of those guys, but they still find it so difficult to get like good enterprise clients and leads. So how do you approach something like this?
So you're saying, and sorry about that, my phone was ringing, so I didn't hear
That's fine.
everything. But you were saying, how do you go and approach in getting enterprise customers?
Yeah, yeah.
It varies per industry. So some people do the approach where they just start sending a lot of emails through services like LinkedIn or direct to a website. Some people start cold calling. Some people
Hmm.
do trade shows, conferences. Some people like me do content marketing, and then hopefully you get more bigger leads, and then you focus your efforts on those. It varies
Hmm.
on the approach that you want to end up taking.
So I gave him kind of a blanket recommendation that you just need to focus on brand because I think a lot of people completely forget about branding their company, right? And
Well, here's the thing: whatever you create, there's very little of a moat. You familiar what a moat is?
yeah,
Right
yeah.
around the castle, the water.
Yeah, maybe our audience do not know what a moat is. So if you can like,
Yeah, so think of it this way, back in the olden ages, there was a lot of wars and fighting, and people tried to take over castles. So castles would have water around them and a drawbridge. The
Yeah.
water was, in essence, your moat. It was a way to stop people from invading, coming in, and taking you over. It was your defensibility. Now there's not much defensibility in business. Everyone has similar products and services, but what is very defensible and hard to beat is a brand. If you can build a brand, you can do well in the long run.
So how would you go about building a brand? Like, what are like 2, 3 things that you need to do? So obviously, content is one. What are the other few things that you can do to like build a brand?
Content and content in different forms, videos, podcasts, text-based. You can give away free stuff, free tools, free courses. You can speak at conferences. You can do advertising. Whatever suits you. Some people give away T-shirts and stickers. It really is up to you on how you want to end up building a brand. But it works.
Do you think T-shirts and stickers still work? Because I find them very corny and cheesy these days. Like there are too many of them out there.
Yeah, it works though.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I've been really wanting to ask you this one question. So a few years ago, a couple of years ago, you went all Dan Bilzerian, right? And you went like you experimented with lifestyle marketing. Like, I want to know what your experience was and like what is the idea behind this?
Well, I didn't do it like him. I more so got
obviously not. Yeah, obviously
yeah,
not.
and I did the test, and then it works, and I met interesting people from it.
Yeah.
The problem was it would be too hard for me to keep up with it because I would have to keep staging photo shoots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't me, but I tried it out, and you try different experiments in marketing, and you figure out what works for you. What I found what works best for me now is just releasing a lot of stuff and all these tools. Like I did a blog post the other day, okay? Check this out.
Yeah.
And my blog post is called, I'm loading up my blog. I think it's like how to build backlinks in less than an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, how to build backlinks in less than an hour.
Okay.
And on this blog post, I talk about Uber Suggest and how I'm giving away a free backlink tool, and I'm building it right now and asking people what they think. And I'm planning on releasing it in early March. This blog post has 751 comments as we speak, and it's been live.
Wow.
It's been live for roughly 2 days.
Oh wow, that's insane. That's like insane.
I'm using kind of like the product launch formula.
Yeah.
Where I'm saying, hey, here's what I'm thinking about releasing. What do you think? I'm the hype.
Yeah.
And then I'll release it. Because then you create anticipation. Because if you just launch and you don't create anticipation, you don't do as well.
Absolutely. That is so true. So you're saying that lifestyle marketing works, but I think that you truly need to be that person. You can't stage all the time, right? Because like Dan Bilzerian is truly that person. I feel like, he really enjoys
he's not doing lifestyle marketing. He's being himself.
Yeah,
I'm a tech nerd, so might as well be myself and create more software and content.
Yeah.
I think I can create the most popular digital marketing site over time if I keep going the way I'm going right now.
Aren't you already that?
No, HubSpot beats me by leaps and bounds. I think they probably have more times with traffic as I do.
Oh yeah, because HubSpot. I completely missed that. Yeah, HubSpot. So how did you pitch this idea of lifestyle marketing to your team? Like, how did you go to your team and say that, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to like hang out.
No, my team came up with the idea.
Oh, your team came up with the idea. Wow, that's interesting. And how long did you run this experiment for? I know you dropped a lot of money on like a Patek Philippe watch. Probably went around in a Ferrari, stayed in like expensive suites.
Yep. So here's the thing: the watches I already enjoyed. So I've had a big watch collection for a long time.
Oh wow, that's nice.
So even years before that. So that wasn't really part of lifestyle. That was more me. I've never bought fancy cars. I have one car right now that's probably nice, but I have a driver because I'm so busy working and my office is so far that's the only reason I have it. And I bought it secondhand, so it was much cheaper. The pictures, all that, I've tried it in and out. So I weaved in and out, which I've done it for like a month or two, and then I'll stop, and then 6 months later I'll get back in, and then I'll stop, and I'll get back in. But what I found I believe right now the future is building a brand, because that's the only thing that's really defensible. And content marketing, I believe, is dying down. There's too much competition. There's too many people doing it. I
Hmm.
also believe courses and charging for information is dying down as well. I know
Hmm.
it's growing very fast in India, but
Yeah.
there's so much information that you can get for free in America. It's getting harder and
Sure.
harder to sell courses. So
Sure.
I'm just like, let me just give everything away for free and just make money off the services.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And you're right. I think it's pretty saturated in the Western countries, especially in the US. But in India, a lot of people are getting like warmed up to the fact that they can actually consume courses online. Something like this has never happened before here. So the fact that we have access to such a large audience, we can like sell it at a very low price and reach like a massive scale at the same time.
Yeah. So, what's funny is I've thought about it. Like I'm right now on slate.com and there's this article
Okay.
on how to start your own university. Cause I was like, oh, maybe I should just go and create my own university. I don't think that's necessarily dying down.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and the moment you end up getting your own accreditation, you end up having your own university, I think things can change. Because
Hmm.
check this out. In India, if you're selling a course, that's one thing. But if someone had an online curriculum and it was an online college, it would probably do 10 times better, no?
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the credibility for a certificate, for a brand name, again, with a particular university, Indians are crazy about education. They spend a lot of money on education and, they go
Yeah,
all the
they
way.
would spend like $10,000 easily, right? For a real college
Way
education
more than
over
that.
2 years.
Yeah, way more than that sometimes, especially if you're doing your master's, you got to shell out at least good, I don't know, 40, $50,000, which is quite a lot of money.
And how many people do that in India per year?
Oh, you won't believe it. I was just reading this article very recently. I think about 500,000 people do that.
For
Yeah, for an MBA. I'm just talking about an MBA. There are so many other courses like which can be like because the whole MBA gold rush is still kind of hot in India. So a lot
But
of
how
people,
about for undergraduate? How many people go for undergraduate? A lot more than that.
yeah, of course. But like if about 500,000 are opting for an MBA, I'm sure that there will be like at least 10 times more people who are actually going to
More.
undergrad.
There
Yeah.
must be like 30 million a year or something
Yeah,
ridiculous.
easily, easily. Like, I mean, the city where I'm from, Bangalore, I think my city alone has about 170 engineering colleges, and each college has easily 2,000 to 3,000 students in them. So that's you got like a lot of students right there. I'm just talking about engineering. I
And what
don't
do
even
they
know.
pay each year?
Oh, they pay about $2,000 to $3,000. It depends. There are a lot of
Per
complications.
year, right?
Yeah, per year.
That's good money at 2,000 students, and they
Yeah,
probably just do it night. How many years is it?
that's 4 years minimum.
So at 2,000, that's over 4 years. That's
Yeah.
8,000. Consistent, and then I don't know whatever. 4 years at $3,000, $24
Yeah,
million.
yeah. That's. I mean,
That's
if you're setting up a university, a physical setup, I think it's
Yeah, but they
definitely
can do it online. I don't know why they don't do it online in India.
they do. I mean, slowly people are getting online also. All of these colleges are like building their own smart classrooms and like online education and whatnot. A lot of things are happening in that space too. And one of the biggest companies, online educational companies, is called Byju's. You might want to check it out. Mark Zuckerberg himself invested in that. Which was a direct investment. They're pretty big. They're pretty huge, actually. They call themselves like a supplementary education system, but they're mostly for school. They're not for like, at least right now, they're not for like university or like post graduation and all of that. Just for school.
See, I always wanted to create a university like
Uh-huh.
Tel.edu
Uh-huh.
and a university just for digital marketing and do it
Yeah.
all online. Because like
Yeah.
even in places like India, it wouldn't be hard to get 3,000 students per year enrolled.
Absolutely. I think you should totally go for it. I
And
mean,
even if the degree was from American university, I don't think they would mind or care. They would be happy either way,
I
right?
mean, I think that would work for you, right?
It would
Because
probably
like,
actually, yeah, it would probably
yeah.
be better than if it was from an Indian college, correct?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And obviously, you have a big brand, in India
Yeah.
for sure. and your analytics might give you a more detailed picture of that. So, coming back to my question, who's the team behind your brand? Obviously, you're not doing all of this alone, so there must be like big team.
No, I do most of it alone.
Oh, really?
I write my own content
Okay.
for Texas. I create my own videos. I do my own podcast. I have Grant who helps manage my Grant who helps a little bit here and there. I have another guy named Carlos who helps a lot. See, I have people more so like execute. So David will manage my guest posting schedule.
Okay.
And then we have people like Carlos who help with Uber Suggest and manage the whole project. He does an amazing job. He also helps manage my whole YouTube process, topic
Okay.
ideas, posting it, promoting it. He manages my Instagram. But yeah, I have a lot of people who help out here and there.
That's amazing. So, how big is your team? Like, how many people are there?
I have hundreds and hundreds of people. I don't know.
Oh, really? Wow. I mean, if you were to like constrict only to Neil Patel, the brand Neil Patel.
Yeah, the companies that run under my brand, like my ad agency and everything, right? A
Yeah, yeah.
lot. I have hundreds and
All
hundreds.
right. Oh,
Because
wow.
like even in Brazil alone, I have over 30 employees because we have an ad agency just in Brazil. I know
Mhm.
we have offices all over the world, but like in my Utah office, we're hiring roughly 10 people every month.
Wow, that's amazing. So, have you ever
And
thought of?
I know in my San Diego office, we're probably hiring close to around 5 people every month. Like just think about the numbers, right? Like I
Uh,
don't know between all of them because I don't know all the people who work for me.
Yeah, makes sense. So, any plans on entering India on the agency aspect? Because it would totally make sense because a lot of agencies right now, a lot of new age companies, they do not mind spending a lot of money online. And they're also doing a lot of online companies are going offline too. It's working both ways.
I thought about it. I haven't met the right partner.
Okay.
I'm waiting
Okay.
for the right partner to run my ad agency out of India. I need someone who's like, I ran ad agencies before. Here's when I got to $10 million or something.
hmm
Be like,
hmm
cool, you're now the CEO of Neil Patel Digital in India and you'll run the whole India division. I'm looking for that person and I haven't
Makes
found
sense.
them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite difficult because what's happening, I mean, if I were to give a very brief picture of Indian digital marketing agencies per se, a lot of these guys have metamorphosed themselves from your regular agencies to digital agencies. It's purely digital agencies. There are a handful of them, but a lot of them have like just like evolved themselves into being digital.
Yep.
So, I mean, you might have to like give it some more time before you like crack a $10 million agency, which is like clocking in that kind of revenues.
Even like 5 million USD, right? But there must be because there are big agencies out there owned by the WPPs or
Yeah, yeah.
Dentsu.
Of course, Dentsu is going absolutely aggressive in terms of acquiring a lot of smaller agencies in India. And a lot of agencies have got a very nice exit because of Dentsu being so aggressive.
Yeah, they're buying ones that are doing like 3, 4, 5 million dollars a year. They're
Probably
probably
less than that. Yeah, probably less than that also. And since these guys have a good foothold in the whole industry, they're just going all out and just buying out all this companies. Now, having said that, I'm not sure if you have felt this, but a lot of people out there have this negative connotation about marketing, because obviously at the end of the day, what we're doing is on some level, we are manipulating people's emotions doing certain actions. Now, what do you think is your stance on that? What would you respond to someone like that?
Wait, can you repeat the question again?
Like marketers have a reputation of like manipulating people. They have this reputation. It can be digital, non-digital, whatever it is. We have this sort of a reputation where people say that we take advantage of people, we manipulate their emotions, we get them to do things that they don't need, all these things. So, what would you respond to something like
A lot of it is true. They're using psychology
that?
to manipulate, right? But
Yeah,
people manipulate in every aspect of the world. When you go
yeah,
buy something from a store and you're buying toilet paper, some of them try to put a warm, soft bear on there because they know you may buy it more likely than if they put a real person on there. There's
yeah.
manipulation everywhere in the world. You go down in the market in India and people are negotiating with you and trying to convince you or being like, come on, this is the best, help me out here. Everyone's manipulating you. It's just how do you want to look at it?
Mm-hmm. So I think that's fair enough because also on very similar lines. Now, when it comes to SEO, a lot of people say that hey, there's black hat, there's white hat, there's purple hat, and everything else in between. Now, a lot of people say that black hat SEO per se is like kind of unethical, but a lot of people also say that what, Google exactly isn't the most ethical company in the world. So it's just because they have the playground, they have their own playground, they are making the rules. So what is your stance on that? Like, if black hat SEO versus white hat SEO?
I would go with the white hat. The black hat may get you results faster, but it won't last forever.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it works, right? Black hat also works, white hat also works. But if you're trying to build a brand,
might as well be long term. There's no point in being short sighted.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. So I see that you do a lot of things. Like you just mentioned that you do most of the things yourself. How do you manage to do so many things? Like, what's your productivity tip?
I don't do that much. I focus on generating leads and building a brand. I don't do anything other than that. Everyone else runs everything else for me.
Okay, I mean, in terms of creating content, you're doing videos, you're doing podcasts, you're doing a bunch of things. Like, it takes a lot of time to create content too. But you seem to be churning out content on such a consistent basis across so many years. Like that. So where does this kind of productivity come from, this efficiency come from?
I've always just been like that. I try to get the most done as quick as possible because life is hectic. There's only so much time in a day, so might as well, be as productive as you can and go from there.
So how does a regular day of Neil Patel look like? What do you do? Like, what do you spend most of your time on?
Yeah, most of my day is emails.
I remember once reading in your blog that you actually respond to all the emails that you get. Do you still do that?
I do.
Oh wow! How many emails are you talking?
Not all. Like when someone sends me like 5 paragraphs or 10 paragraphs, I tend not to respond because it's too much to read through. But I respond to the ones that are short and to the point.
Wow! And how many emails are we talking about here per day?
I get over 1,000, but some get filtered. So
Okay.
I don't respond to everyone personally. Like if it's an interview request or it's a contact form, it goes through someone else first.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
My personal inbox, I probably get around 200 a day.
Okay. So when it comes to content in India, especially, or for a country like India where their native language or the first language is not English, a lot of them have this kind of resistance to create content because they say that, hey, you know what, I'm not a native speaker. So what do you have to tell them? Like, what is your tip for them?
Yeah. So look, well, who's the audience listening?
It depends. Sometimes people are like targeting outside of India too.
And you want to help them. Like, what's the main thing? Like, if they walked away, what would the main thing that would really help them?
Who are you referring to now?
Your audience.
I mean, I'm not talking about me particularly because we have a course which we launched recently, content marketing course. A lot of their problem is this. I'm not able to write because English is not my first language, but my audience is someone who speaks English, right?
Yeah, but isn't it the case that in India you're taught English at a very early age, or no?
I mean, you could say that, but again, that's not the first language, right? There's a lot of difference in the way we Indians speak English compared to, say, a Britisher or an American who speak English. And you can easily make out that this is not a native English, right?
Who cares? My grammar sucks. I still did okay. My mom didn't do English as her first language. She was a teacher here. It doesn't matter. You can just get up and running, and if it sucks, who cares? You can improve it over time.
Okay, so all you want to say is just go out there and do it because ultimately it's not set in stone, right?
Yeah, like it doesn't matter if you make mistakes and stuff. I make mistakes all the time. Sometimes I send out an email blast and people correct me on my email, and then I'll get like 50 responses saying how my emails were not grammatically correct, and it's like, okay, I'll try to do better, but that's life.
Yeah. Also, speaking of content, I see that your being very active on podcasts. Now, what is your take on podcasts? Where do you think it's going? What do you, if someone wants to get into podcast right
It's
now?
huge. Just start out there, take out your phone, record, and upload it, and you're off to the races. Use services like Libsyn.
Okay, what's that again? Can you come again?
Libsyn.
Okay, perfect. So, would this be a right time for someone to start podcast? Because I've been like sitting on the fence for it the longest time now.
Yeah, it's the right time. Start one as soon as possible.
Perfect. I
Although
think,
they're not too popular yet in India.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because I was thinking that I'll maybe probably convert this interview into a podcast and just start
It's
it off with this.
probably too early in India, but maybe in a year or two it'll get popular.
Yeah, I mean, it would ideally make sense to get in before it gets crowded, right? So I'm thinking like maybe
Yeah,
next.
because the infrastructure isn't there yet.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh,
would need faster mobile connections and all this kind of stuff. It's
it's
getting there.
slowly, yeah, it's slowly changing because mobile connectivity has improved drastically in the past.
It's better
Even
than most landline connections in India.
yes, it surprisingly is. And it's internet talking over the phone over WhatsApp is sometimes way better than your regular cellular connections. So it's come to a point where internet is way better than your regular cellular connection. So I'm hoping that a lot more people will start enjoying podcasts. So yeah, now with the kind of success that you have, like you will obviously invite and attract a lot of hate. How do you handle with something like that?
uh, you know, I just ignore it. It doesn't really faze me. I get it every day. It is what it
Okay.
is.
It doesn't phase you at all. Nothing has like phased you at some point saying that, you know what?
Sometimes it does, but you learn to get over it.
Yeah. What is that? Is that one particular time where you said that, oh man, this is like really getting out of hand? I can't handle this.
Ignorance is bliss. The moment you keep going on all these social sites and reading, it creates problems, so ignore them.
Okay, completely makes
I think
sense.
I'm the most hated person in digital marketing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm one of them.
Well, it very well might be because, so much success comes equal amount of like, jealousy and it, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry for the
Um,
background noise.
No problem. So I see this trend in India at least. I'm not sure how that's happening in the US or any other countries. That a lot of people have realized that you can't do a single marketing channel these days, and you need to really go omnichannel. When I say omnichannel, you need to go offline too. And have you tried any kind of offline marketing?
I have tried offline marketing, not a ton, like
Okay.
conferences, like, booths and stuff like that, but it works.
Okay. And
Offline advertising is huge in India right now. It
yeah, it
has been
is.
for a long time.
Yeah. And what
But it's
happens in
expensive.
India? Yeah, it is. But what we realize that is when you advertise offline, your trust factor just shoots up because you kind of like come across as a very serious brand when you're doing any kind of like offline branding or any kind of offline advertising. People tend to believe you and trust you a lot more compared to like a company which is just advertising on regular social media or whatever. In fact, a lot of tech companies and like a lot of startups these days are like sponsoring cricket matches. I don't know where they're getting the money from, but like cricket sponsoring a cricket match is huge in India. So a lot of people are like doing things like that. So do you see a similar trend in the US too?
Yeah, we see a huge trend. Once you do offline advertising, it builds a lot of trust. People are used to it.
Okay, makes sense. Now, I haven't seen you promote your book per se a lot. What is your, because you have such a powerful personal brand out there, and we had the opportunity to meet Jack Canfield, the author of the Chicken Food for the Soul series and Success Principles, and he was like,
Do
guys need to read a book, write a book.
books do well. It didn't do that well for me. Maybe probably because it wasn't related to marketing enough. But yeah, maybe one day I'll write another book.
What was your book called? Something to do with hustling, right? I forgot the
Yeah,
name.
it's called Hustle.
Oh, it's called Hustle. Okay, perfect. Because I see a lot of them recommending you to write a book because people will start taking you seriously. Did you feel that need, or is it that maybe
And it
wrong?
doesn't help too much. It honestly doesn't help. In India, are books popular?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I haven't tried it personally, but people who have, they have said that it works because the moment you write a book, you're seen as a very credible author. rather than a blogger. And there's a huge difference being a credible author compared to a credible blogger, right? So
Yep.
I think it's going to like work out. We're planning to write a bunch of books. It's got its own benefits also, apart from just giving you branding. So we're thinking of tinkering into that. Now, probably my last question for the interview. How much of your success would you attribute it to luck? Probably good or bad, whatever it is.
A lot is luck. It
Yeah,
always is every business. A lot
yeah.
is. I wish I had more, but a lot.
Because even I feel the same thing, and I keep telling that you just need to know when you get lucky and just like build on top of it, right? Like sometimes just no matter what you do, you might be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but like sometimes you're at the right place at the right time. You just need to like build on top of it. And people have this, kind of like a negative perspective about getting lucky, right? And
No, luck is great. I'd rather be lucky than smart. My worship at least.
yeah, I know, totally. So, any tips on entrepreneurship, digital marketing for your audience in India? Any words that you would like to say?
No, like one day I want to come to India,
Absolutely.
expand there. I think it's an amazing place. And for all you entrepreneurs out there, keep at it. You guys are in one of the best markets in the world. So you'll do
Yeah.
really well. This is the time to strike, especially in India.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Neil. Thanks for taking out the time to speak to me and speak to our beautiful audience here. I'm sure that we had a lot to learn, and we really hope to catch you in India very soon. Thank you very much for giving us this time.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.